Namaste, I am Dr. Chetali Samant, an Ayurveda physician, a diet and lifestyle counselor and a yoga expert. I practice in two locations in Bangalore. One is Ayush Ayurcare Malleshwaram every day of the week from Monday to Saturday, and at Earthen Wellness Alsu Road on first Sunday of every month. Atopic dermatitis or eczema is a very common childhood illness and is often seen in adults. There is no particular age of onset for this disease as it's an autoimmune disorder. It can be hereditary, that is, it can pass from generation to generation in family. The signs can vary from child to child, and even in adults the signs can be very different. Some of the most common signs that we see are grey, reddish, scaly patches, sometimes circular or oddly circular sometimes, seen in the bends of the elbow or bends of the knees, sometimes on the foot also or around the ankles, in children very commonly on the scalp or on the nape of the neck, on the eyelids, in the folds of the eyelids, and sometimes around the mouth and around the neck. So the most irritating symptom, what bothers children the most when there is atopic dermatitis, is the itching. There is uncontrollable itching, which is most of the time we see that maybe even associated with food. The skin is extremely dry, and no matter how much moisturizer you tend to use, does not help. So does Ayurveda help atopic dermatitis? Yes, it does. There are several ways in which we can approach the treatment of atopic dermatitis in children with Ayurveda. One of the most common ways that we do is to start including Ayurvedic herbs which purify the blood and which strengthen the immune system, thereby help the body manage the autoimmunity which is triggering rapid destruction of skin cells for the child. So there are also various kind of emollients or Ayurvedic moisturisers and creams that we give to help the skin stay moisturized and to reduce inflammation, and these creams are non-steroidal in nature. Many mothers ask us that most of the blood purifying medicines in Ayurveda are very bitter in taste, and it's true. Most of the herbs that we use in Ayurveda for any skin condition, be it eczema, psoriasis or any kind of skin condition, are extremely bitter, and the body kind of craves bitterness to purify the liver, to purify the blood. So how it is that we can give such medicines in children? Thanks to modern advancement, Ayurveda is not any longer in the stone age where we had to make decoctions and we had to give raw powders or raw herbs to people. Yes, of course, it's undeniable fact that if you take herbs in the most purest forms, they'll be more effective. But as far as the palatability goes, bitter medicines are not palatable, and it's very challenging to give such medicines for children, especially infants. So thanks to the modern advancements in the area of pharmacy and Ayurvedic pharmaceuticals, that now we have those herbs suspended in the form of syrups, which are very safe for the body and very palatable again. The bitter taste of the medicine can be masked, and several different medicines can be given, Ayurvedic herbs especially, can be given at the same time in the form of syrups. So we do have medicines which help blood purifications, medicines which help to reduce allergies and help to bring down the itching especially. Over a period of time, even the patches which appear here and there, or old patches which might be irritating the child and causing intense itching, can disappear with good advice and good follow-up with the doctor. We advise strongly not to continue the same set of medicines, especially in children, even Ayurvedic medicines, over a long period of time. Do understand that Ayurvedic medicines are very similar to food. So many a times with recurrent use, the body can accept them as food and may not respond as effectively as it might have responded during the initial phases of treatment. So do keep following up with the doctor. Do understand that it may be a very long process to give oral medicines and bring atopic dermatitis under control, but it can be very much brought into control. Also, the creams that we use for treatment of eczema and atopic dermatitis in Ayurveda are not steroidal based. Mind you, steroids get absorbed inside the skin and they are not good for health, and it demands recurrent use of that steroid based creams. Once you apply steroids, there is no looking back. The moment you stop oral or topical steroids, there are high chances that there will be rebound occurrence of a larger scale and more widespread eczema for that child. So as long as possible, avoid using steroidal creams unless it is unbearable to the child or it is really widespread, or if it is not responding to Ayurvedic medicines. both your Ayurvedic doctor as long as the also the dermatologist who is taking care of your child need to be on the same page as to what is going on with the child's eczema treatment. This is one part, that is treating eczema with medications, Ayurvedic medications. The other part of managing atopic dermatitis or eczema in Ayurveda is the dietary modification that we advise to the child and also to the mother. If the child is an infant and the major meal or major food of the child or the staple of the child is mother's milk, then many of the dietary advices are given to the mother. For example, leaving out foods which are obvious triggers for dysfunctioning or for increasing the autoimmunity or triggering widespread allergies inside the child's body. So one of the things which I have seen work really well are leaving out nuts. Although your child may not be allergic to nuts, it always helps to keep the consumption of nuts and proteins on the lower side. Proteins, as you may know, are one of the biggest culprits which trigger rapid or very quick allergic reactions inside the body. You might have heard of people who are allergic to shrimp or allergic to shellfish. That's because of not just the specific compounds which are found in the shellfish, but also because of the protein, the specific kind of protein. So nuts are one of those things which gives immediate results when it comes to eczema if you leave them out. Especially ground nuts or peanuts, then walnuts really help to keep the eczema and the itching under control. Yet another thing which I've seen helps to reduce itching and helps to allows the child to heal faster is leaving out dairy. Many people might say us, oh my god, if we leave out dairy, how is the child going to get required amounts of calcium and protein in their diet? Mind you, nothing will happen. Dairy which is laced with pesticides and laced with the antibiotics which are fed to the cows and the hormones which get fed to the cows are also triggering autoimmune reactions inside the body, and it's not that they will go exit the body without creating damage. Leaving out dairy, and especially non-organic dairy, helps the child tremendously when it comes to autoimmune disorders. So that is one of the advice we give to the parents. And the last advice, to leave out gluten, to leave out wheat and wheat products. Also some other things which is a common knowledge, it's not just Ayurveda which helps, is leaving out all foods which are processed foods, which are laced with artificial flavorings and artificial colors and all kind of artificial additives. Most of the food that we buy off the shelves in a supermarket need to be left out from the child's diet. As far as you go organic, as much as you can go organic when it comes to your child's diet. If your child is suffering from atopic dermatitis or eczema, or even for adults that matter, make sure that you include as less outside food as possible. It's easier said than done when it comes to children, I do understand. However, we can make attempts, and I have had clients with really children as young as 2-year-old and 3-year-old, really high energy kids whom it's very difficult to make them understand why a particular food is being left out, especially if it's their favorite food. For example, I have had kids who loved eating fruits with yogurt or fruits with milk, but according to Ayurveda, that's a very unwholesome combination, and we have seen clinically that it leads to triggers in eczema and in itching. So as long as possible, do try, get creative, and take your Ayurvedic physician's advice as to what you can follow with the food. So yes, Ayurvedic medicines and the dietary recommendations what we give do help a lot in the long-term management and complete treatment of atopic dermatitis or eczema in children and also in adults.